The EU is screwing Apple.
The EU thinks they're saving Europe by making Apple open up its App Store to allow opportunities for other providers to offer apps to Apple users. Boy, that is a mouthful. In this video, I'm going to cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of this decision. And boy, can it get ugly. At face value, you might think, oh, okay, this is actually a good thing, right? More competitors, more apps? Sure. I mean, that does sound good, especially if you're an app out there that isn't available through the App Store. But this also opens that Pandora's box to a load of other crap that will come with making an app platform open. The amount of security issues that are going to exist, it's going to end up wrecking the user experience and cause the cost of everything to go up. Maybe fees to update to the next OS? It could happen. Now, of course, I'm just feeding a bunch of hoo-ha here because it could lead to that, but let's break down this topic and cover what it's really all about. Let me ask you a couple questions. How often do you directly download an app based on a recommendation or you saw an ad? And how often do you go onto the Apple App Store and look for something to download? Like, I don't know, just search, random. Let's see what I'm gonna do today, blah, 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 blah. I'm guessing that's extremely low. In fact, I'm willing to bet a majority of the people don't go onto the Apple App Store and think, gee, I wish there were more options. I feel trapped. Apple isn't allowing me to do what I want. Even though you knew when you bought the device that Apple had a strict ecosystem for allowing apps in, but you are protected from the usual BS. I mean, just look at the amount of problems that most people have with their Windows PC every year. The EU is creating problems to fix that didn't even exist. This is just a bunch of old people trying to F with something they clearly don't understand. They think this big bad company must be doing something wrong, not letting everybody into their ecosystem to sell their apps. Just look at the port situation. They're forcing Apple and many other companies to switch from their proprietary plugs to USB-C, which at the surface looks like they're doing something helpful. Let me ask you this. What happens when Apple removes the port? Are they gonna bitch and moan that people can't plug in? Then demand that Apple bring the port back? Come on, people. This isn't about the apps being available. This is all about money. Businesses are angry about the fees that they get charged to use the Apple Store. 30% is a fee that Apple takes from app developers who make over $1 million through the App Store per year. Now, other companies like Google and Steam are charging around the same amount of money. So let's go ahead and just kind of clean this up a little bit. Companies that are making over $1 million in sales per year are upset because Apple's taking 30%. I don't know how many people are paying attention when Epic Games wanted to take their payment system off of Apple to be able to skirt around that particular 30% fee. In 2021, the Fortnite game, which was at the center of all this attention, alone generated $5.8 billion with a B. B as in Bob. $5.8 billion in revenue. One game. Now, is 30% too much? Let's assume that maybe only $1 billion of that 5.8 was made through the Apple App Store, if they were still on it. Apple would take $300 million of that $1 billion. Good God, that's a lot of money. Leaving around $700 million for the Fortnite devs and Epic Games in 1 year. Is that fair? So many people seem to think, yeah, it is unfair. But you have to take a look at it from Apple's side. They're offering access to billions of users. They process the payments, plus you get the security of being offered through their system, plus any developer tools that they need, and honestly, I'm not sure any of them would use it anyway. However, the billions of customers that they get access to alone is worth it. If you want to play in their house and have access to their customers, then you got to play the rules. Now, how about we address the real issues? Is the percentage Apple and other companies charging too much? Well, the real numbers are more or less 15% of developers that are making less than $1 million and 30% for that over $1 million in sales. Well, it's their system, and when people make their own phone, OS, App Store, convince billions of people to buy into their system, then they can charge what they seem fit to charge. I'm willing to bet the same people who run the EU would take a look at the system and probably end up charging around the same amount of fees. This is all just typical political BS. Sticking your noses in where it doesn't belong. And where were you when Apple didn't have an app store? They didn't offer support outside the Apple's world. No Outlook, no other apps. The iPhone and its OS have come a long way since the days of that weird 30-pin connector, FireWire, and the oddly shaped headphone jack that didn't fit anything but their headphones. I have little issue with the way that Apple allows me to operate this device. I bought the phone because I know it was closed off from all of that BS. It's simple and it works when I need it to. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But when something goes wrong, figuring out the problem is so much easier because I'm using what Apple spent years and years building. I look forward to people having issues from being able to download these other apps that end up bricking their phone. All I'll say is, well, you wanted it, you got it. Now go ahead and F off. In my opinion, the US needs to steer clear of this. You know what? How about this? What if Apple were just to stop selling all their devices in those 27 European countries? I think they would be more than fine. Those 27 countries' inhabitants might have something else to say about that. Of course, I am not one to sit there and hold back if Apple does something wrong. I did a video on that right here. Of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You all take it easy, and I hope this clears up soon. Have a good day.